to get further details, would like to speak with her as she is joining us right now. Is the chairperson from the Oasis FORUM, Beauty Katebe. Thank you so much for making time to speak with us, Ms. Katebe. You are, you've been busy describing this bill as an illegality. Let's start from there. Why do you describe this bill as an illegality first of all?
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, we as Oasis Forum are describing the bill as an illegality because firstly, it has violated the specific orders of the Constitutional Court. I'm sure you all know that this bill, when Nia Zulu and Celestine Mukandila took the matter to court, they had a celebrated case. And the government was given instructions by the Constitutional Court, which they were supposed to follow. That was withdrawing the bill from Parliament completely and restart the process so that they follow the normal procedure of constituting the technical team, which would have gone to the people to consult on which clauses they wanted to amend, and then they should have gotten back to frame the amendment, and then they throw it back to the people for them to allow it to go to Article 79, where now the MPs, the members of Parliament, are given the power now to work on it. But when you look at what has happened, even after the court ruled against Bill 7, the government has decided to go ahead and just sanitize the process by getting back and constituting a technical committee, not at the proper time, because we are talking about process and content. So the process was not followed. Instead of following what the Constitutional Court advised, instead government decided to just midway constitute a technical team and give them the clauses that were in Bill 7 to go out and consult from the people.
Thank you so much for that response. Let's take you back to the dialogue meeting that you had with the president. I think the nation woke up to a shock that you, as Oasis Forum, decided to discontinue these talks with the government. Why did you discontinue these talks with the government? But also, others, Ms. Beauty Katebe, are suggesting that you went into dialogue without having an open-minded, position, because you wanted what you wanted to pass, as opposed to, the objective of a dialogue where it's a give and take. You wanted your way and your way only. Is this a true representation of facts?
I agree that a dialogue is a give and take, but give and take on what? Give and take on the position that you've taken. For example, we took a position that we follow the law, that government must adhere to the judgment, which they did not. And for us, when we went there, I know it sounded very strange to our colleagues. We said we wanted the Bill 7 to be withdrawn from Parliament. That was our demand, and that a fresh process supported by legal safeguards be commenced, and also that we needed such new process to be inclusive and not rushed. So it should be understood that is the reason why we were objecting to the process. So if we didn't have a position, then why object? What were we objecting to? We were objecting to the fact that government did not follow the procedure And if they did not follow the procedure, the court ruled against that and gave them guidelines, and still they did not want to follow the guidelines. The guidelines of the court did not say, go and constitute a technical committee. No. When you look at the judgment says, withdraw Bill 7. And if it has to go back to Parliament, it should not be Bill 7, because Bill 7 must be withdrawn completely. It's an illegality as it sits there.
So now let's talk about also still in the dialogue, even prior to this, because initially what the public news had on Friday, the 28th of November, you'd be holding that the protest. But I mean, prior to that, we saw that President Hakainde Hichilema called for dialogue, which eventually you had heeded to, and we saw that dialogue, that discussion you had with President Hakainde Hichilema. What were your hopes going into this dialogue? Were you optimistic that your conversation with President Hichilema would lead to him and his government withdrawing this particular bill? Is that the hope you went in with for this dialogue?
The hope actually was that maybe they have an oversight and they did not understand what the court ruled in the matter. And then we decided to go there and just explain that we are calling this an illegality because the Constitutional Court ruled against it. Can we start a new reform? And that if it is started in the normal way, where procedure and a process is followed, then we will be part of it. We are not objecting to a reform, but we are objecting to sanitizing an illegality. An illegality in this case is Bill 7, because even when you go to the judgment, you will find that I'm sure the court is still expecting them to follow the law, and any judgment becomes precedent and it's law.
Now, earlier today, we did see that there were a number of stakeholders who met with President Hichilema, and they are in support of Bill 7. They feel, and their position is that Bill 7 must go through. Some of them even went as far as saying that the position of the Oasis Forum is null and void. What's your reaction to the submissions that came through earlier today, which are contrary to the submissions you made to President Hichilema?
If you ask me, I will respect the views of those that submitted, because that is their standpoint. How I wish they could also have respected our views. We did not go to State House to attack any organization that either submitted in support or not submitted. We went there with a position as Oasis Forum. I could have expected all those that were submitting to submit in their capacity and not submit what they wanted Oasis Forum to do. We respect their position, and we respect the fact that they were given a full broadcast. We still respect that, but I'm sure those that are able to see through this would know that we are actually, if this bill goes through, we will be in for it.
Let's get to
just that process of, I spoke only for less than 5 minutes and the cameras were off. Today we saw people speaking. I don't know, I will not call any submission irrelevant or relevant or anything, but I just want to say we saw people submitting before the camera for 6 hours.
Did you find that strange?
Oh, yes, I found it strange because if we went to State House to submit, I'm thinking we could have been given the same platform where people out there could have listened to us just like we listened to the other group today.
Did you question why the media was curtailed?
Come again?
Did you question why the media was curtailed to broadcast the entirety of your submissions?
We were the first ones to submit, so we thought that was the procedure. So really, we could not even question. because the State House is not our office. State House is a very higher office in this land. So when they said the cameras off and go, and then they bring them at the end of the meeting, we thought that was procedure, but unfortunately, it looked something else today, and we can only look and observe.
Guess what? The country did hear partly what you had to say in that 5 minutes before the broadcast was cut. And you said something very profound, that you were in the dungeons together with President Hakainde Hichilema when he was in opposition, and when he criticized, other constitution-making processes like Bill 10, and you were strong on opposing that particular bill. Do you feel disappointed, Madam Katebe, that President Hakainde Hichilema is taking a path that he had not believed in while in opposition?
Quite strange, but people have their own opinions, and when they form an opinion on a matter, no one can move anyone as long as they believe what they are doing is correct. But really, like I've always said, I think I keep saying even in this interview, one's position is one's position. I don't have the capacity or the luxury to move them from their position. I would only think that if I were him, I would do it differently, because like I said, like I submitted in my preamble when we went for a meeting, anything that I say no to, I should say no to it the following day. I should say no to it until I die.
Now,
because a no must be a no. It just means something else to me. For me, it means principle.
Now, going forward, I mean, if try to put ourselves in the position of the Republican president, and I think it's something that is also mentioned and reiterated in the last couple of months that these submissions have been coming through, that we have a group of people who are opposing and rejecting Bill number 7. But at the same time, as also witnessed today and on different days, there are also a group of people who strongly feel that Bill 7 should go through, and the president the government really must maintain Bill 7 as it is and go forward. So what kind of measurement should be used in terms of who should be listened to? Who is the correct majority? What metrics can be used to look at whose voice must be listened to over the others?
Okay, this is actually a very good test to Zambians, their intelligence and objectivity on looking at things. Really, I wouldn't say that I'm the best where I sit, or I know more where I sit, or I wouldn't say that my other colleagues are the best and they know more. But this is, I think, putting the intelligence of Zambian people to look through what has happened and what is happening and begin to understand that there could be some motive by Beauty Katebe, or there could be some motive by those that submitted, or there could be some benefit by Beauty Katebe, or some benefit from those that submitted. Really, it's just a critical eye, a critical thinker, and just knowing that we are being put to test. Unfortunately, at times, Zambians, we don't pay attention to what happens, especially when it comes to governance of our nation. We receive anything that is given to us, and that is a very big problem. I remember one time some lady came from Kenya, and where we sat, where we were having a meeting from, there were mosquitoes. And then this lady said, I actually can't believe that Zambians' docility goes even to the extent of where mosquitoes are biting and you can't move. Because I can't sit here because these mosquitoes have really put me in touch. I see that none of you is even moving, and that is how docile Zambians are. This lady, I remember, it's some 15 years ago. but I still remember her words.
Do you think that you've withdrawn from this dialogue much too early? I mean, the president also earlier today says this bill still needs to go to Parliament. Why aren't we letting this bill be fought from the House? I mean, that is the final destination for that bill. That is perhaps where we'll see if it will see the light of the day or not. I mean, you heard the president say this. Are we giving up in this fight too early? Are you giving up too early as Oasis Forum?
We are giving up on the dialogue because we could not make any movement, and especially if the adamance is even on a judgment that is very clear, sitting on the shelves of the courts of law, the highest court for that matter. This is the Constitutional Court in Zambia, which ruled against this, and the executive has decided to still proceed and take the matter to the legislature. And also, what is surprising about this whole thing is that I don't know if you remember that at some point the legislature, led by the Speaker of the National Assembly, requested the executive to take the bill to Parliament. Meantime, there was the judiciary that sat and said this bill was not fit to go to Parliament. It's quite strange how even the three arms of government are not respected. Quite strange.
You have said in your in your concluding remarks in this in this statement you wrote to the public that you urge the government of the Republic of Zambia to withdraw Bill number 7 immediately and commence a legitimate, transparent and people-driven constitutional reform process where amendments will be framed by the owners and not by the government. Today the President did receive the report from the technical committee, and from the posture he had, he doesn't seem like he is thinking of withdrawing this particular bill. But also you mentioned that your forum will continue to use all available legal means possible and even go as far as engaging the international community. What did you mean here when you mentioned you are going to engage the international community, but also are you going to go ahead to protest and demonstrate against this bill?
I think when you look at the same letter or document that you are referring to, only 2 items are mentioned there. We say we will continue to engage in any possible way, and also that we will engage the international community to just try and look into what is happening and see if this is correct. The reason why we are even going to the neighbor instead of resolving the issue with mother, father, and children is because we only have so much power to move our father or our mother from the position where they are. And that is why we said in that document that it's the adamance of government that has put us to where we are now. So in terms of whether we are protesting, we are going ahead with the protest or not, I think that is something that will come out in the roll-out plan that we are promising the people that we will bring to the people of Zambia. But I don't know if I can today, just now, tell you whether that is one of the issues that we are considering to put into our plan. But I cannot rule it out and I cannot confirm.
Now, today, like Andrew mentioned here, the President did receive the submissions from the technical committee that was put together. About 11,860,000 submissions that were made. And by the way, these submissions also included what people felt need to be added. So it wasn't just restricted to the proposed clauses that people got to know about initially through this constitutional amendment, Bill number 7. So there were also additional submissions that people had made as well, making part of what has been reported here. Do you think this counts as the engagement? Because the Constitutional Court judgment did speak towards the engagement of the public as part of the process, the democratic process that is needed to build up to a bill amendment, constitutional amendment bill here. So do you see these engagements as part of the process of engaging really the public in the formation of what they would like to see in the Constitution?
It could have been if it was not sanitizing the illegality. I said earlier, the Bill 7 is an illegality. So whatever it is that we do, whether it is the correct process or it is the correct step or it is the fact that we are putting it on Bill 7, it becomes an illegality.
Let's pick our first caller. McQueen Zaza is calling us. Hello, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us, Councillor McQueen Zaza.
How are you?
Well, very well, thank you.
How are you, Madam Becky Katebe?
I'm sure she can hear you. She's well.
Okay. My contribution and my discomfort with the way the Oasis Forum has handled this issue is that, first and foremost, I do not think that the Oasis Forum has understood or did understand the constitutional judgment that was given in the Munia case. In the Attorney General, in the Munia Celestine Mkandila versus the Attorney General, the Constitutional Court did not say that Bill 7 is illegal. It did not say that. What the court said is that the process, and that was their interpretation, the process leading to Bill 7 did not follow the ordinary way of doing things. And according to the court, the ordinary way of doing things was that people were consulted first, and from the consultation, they gathered their views, and those views culminated into what was fed into the bill. Not that Bill 7 is illegal. So what did the executive do? You, Madam Katebe, the Law Association of Zambia, and indeed the Oasis Forum, you went to State House, and the president heard you, and you withdrew the bill in Parliament. They went to do a consultation, which you were supposed to have gone to give your views. You were going to be given even 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
Although we must clarify, it was not withdrawn. It was not withdrawn from the Parliament.
Okay.
So it was deferred.
It was deferred and not withdrawn.
Yeah, okay, actually it was deferred. That's the correct word. It was deferred in Parliament because the Oasis Forum, the Law Association, in conjunction with the Law Association of Zambia, they went to the president. They sat down, and the president said, "I've heard. Okay, let's defer the bill. Let's go and consult the people." They went and consulted the people. The Oasis Forum, on the other hand, went and said, "We are protesting." That was an opportunity for the Oasis Forum to air out their views, as well as going to the president again for the second time to air out their views. But what were they doing? They staged a so-called prayer at the cathedral, mocking prayer itself and mocking government, and mocking people who had made tangible, who had given tangible views to the process. There's nothing illegal about Bill 10. Even in your discourse or your discussion anywhere, you fail to single out one illegality as in the content of Bill 7. You cannot even pinpoint one illegality there, other than misinterpreting the judgment of the court. You go to court again and ask the court to interpret its own judgment. Probably you understand the judgment better than what we are having at the moment. I think in life we should reach a stage where we can all now move forward.
All right.
And see to it that at least we have a constitution that is going to help us better the lives of the people of Zambia.
All right, thank you so much, Councillor McQueen Zaza, for that contribution. Madam Katebe, just a few minutes before you could leave, Makwin Zaza here says that you have not properly understood what the judgment of the Constitutional Court, the judgment that the Constitutional Court rendered in the Celestine and Munia Zulu case. Is that the case?
I heard him very loud and clear. The judgment did not talk about the deferment and going back to it. The judgment is very clear. It says withdraw. And when you withdraw, we are not supposed to be talking about Bill 7 today. We are supposed to be talking about a different bill, different number, initiated in the normal process.
What do you think, as we conclude, is the intention of this government to, because you describe it as a rushed process, very few months before the elections. What do you think is the actual intention, of this government to want to amend the constitution before the next election?
The intention, like I said even earlier, I normally don't like thinking for people because I really don't know what the executive is thinking about today. But it's surprising that it is adamant on ensuring that this Bill 7 issue is delivered before elections.
Do you have any problems? Do you have any?
That is what is making me and the next person that I sit with to get worried.
In conclusion,
to indicate that this is the reason why I would lie, because I'm not the president. I am not those that he works with closely, but it's quite worrying. Zambians must get worried. Why the rush? Zambians must be worried.
From what I see it appears that you are only concerned with the process. But let's talk about the content. Do you have anything wrong? Do you have anything wrong? Do you see anything wrong with the content that has been proposed? Madam Beauty Katebe?
I think I've lost Madam Katebe there, but the very critical questions, Andrew, that you ask just in the end, because I mean, yes, the Oasis Forum says it's because of the process, but we need to interrogate the content too. I mean, yes, there's issues around delimitation and so on, but those are some of the issues that we will continue to interrogate, on the next coming episodes of Diamond Live. But would like to speak to some of the issues around the economy as well. The last 4 years of the United Party for National Development, there's so much that's happened.